chairman of Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, PACAC, Professor Sagay, has warned those clamoring for jettisoning of rotation of presidency to rest such idea, as zoning is an arrangement that assuages the feelings of the people and gives them the confidence that they have a role in the affairs of the country. People should not be too clever, because I'm seeing some cleverness in those who are now talking of competence. I will be more comfortable with them saying that if the part of the country from which they do not come has spent 8 years, then if they talk of competence, I would take them very seriously. I see some of these talks of competence as a disguise for wanting perpetuation of power in one section of the country, he stated. Well, Professor Sagay, was being interviewed, and they asked him some pertinent questions about what is happening in the country, and this is one of the things. And I know a lot of people understand where he's talking from, the angle is coming from, because the person that made this statement, the person of Mama Daura, he said, that he does not believe in zoning, that the presidency should be all about competence. And that's why this man is saying, if this particular person, if the presidency is people other region have spent 8 years, and this particular person or this particular people from this region are now talking about competence, he will believe them. But you are there and you are still talking of competence, and what brought you there? And believe you me, don't forget that Sagay is part of the presidency. Somehow it's working for them. They are together. He's working in this present administration, and that's it to tell you that he does not even believe in most of the things happening there. It does not even align with what Mama Daura has said. Okay, a question was being thrown to him. Of late, you have been critical of the Justice Salami panel probing Magu and the EFCC. What are the specific issues you have against the inquiry? He said, we have to be very clear about what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the process of fair hearing. I don't have anything at all against the panel, and I have the greatest respect for Justice Salami, and he knows it. But what I criticized were two things. One, most members of the panel came from agencies that are in fact the accusers of Magu. That is contrary to our normal principle of fair hearing. You cannot be the accuser and the judge. The second is, those who petitioned made their cases when he wasn't there, and after they had finished, then he was asked to make response, and that is the information I have. Again, that is contrary to all our procedures in the common law. In accordance with the constitution, when somebody is accusing you of something, you are supposed to be present. First, you are to be served in advance of whatever you are accused of. Then you will be there when the person is making a case, so that you have an opportunity of challenging him, cross-examining him, and exposing any lies or inconsistency if there are any. Those are what I criticized, the procedures of the exercise and nothing more. And again, another question to him says, as a strong supporter of the APC, are you comfortable with the state of the party now, especially with the recent development that led to the sack of Oshomole as its national chairman? And he answered and said, it is a very difficult situation. There was so much confusion, so much instability. I won't call it an APC thing. It is a Nigerian phenomenon. Everybody fighting every other person. People jostling for positions. People wanting to be this or that, and not having a limit to what harm they can do in order to achieve their objective. This type of extremism, do or die orientation of Nigerians, particularly the political class, is very frightening. Obviously, I wasn't happy, and I criticized that man from Port Harcourt, Victor Gideon, who was assistant secretary and declared himself chairman. It is outrageous because that line of secretaryship doesn't end up in chairmanship. It is the line of deputy chairman, assistant chairman that ends up as chairman, not a secretary. That is chaos and anarchy. So there are too many people with too many interests who are prepared to pursue their interests to any limit regardless of the consequences, and that is my worry. Oshomole appears to be the face of APC campaigns in the Edo governorship race. People say it is an indication of his desperation to foist godfatherism in the state. Do you share in this sentiment? And Professor Sagay said, Nigerians read motives into everything. Nobody does anything out of good faith or out of innocence. There must be a motive. That person must want something. That is our mentality. When you are doing a job well, they say somebody must be paying you. You must be making some material benefit somewhere along the way. You cannot do anything for nothing or out of principle. That is Nigerian mentality. I think Oshomole is simply very enthusiastic, very keen to install somebody whom he supports and who belongs to his party. I don't think there is anything behind it. Okay, like seriously? That's good. That's a good one. Okay, another question thrown at him. The way the Edo election is going, analysts say blood will flow. More so, the state is part of Niger Delta, where violence is usually used to settle issues or problems. What is your take on this? And he said, what disturbs me is the desperation of the parties. They are just too desperate. A person doesn't have to be governor for Christ's sake. They had a life before they become governors or governorship candidates. They didn't die. In fact, these are people who are living very well, far above the average Nigerian. So what is the desperation about? I don't understand. Nigerian politicians are too desperate, and that is responsible for part of our problems. I agree that there's a lot of tension and the fear that there may be bloodshed if things are not properly handled. It is a very sad situation that at this level, at this stage, 20 years after we return to civilian rule, people are still maintaining this do or die mentality for positions. It is such a disaster. So guys, Professor Sagay is talking about the presidency. They're being going to whichever way, whether it's by competence or by zoning, and talked about Edo State election. And you've heard what he said concerning all of those. I don't know what you think, whether he's right in what's in his own submission. And again, talked about the position of a Magu case that is ongoing with the presidential panel. Whether you agree with him or not, let us hear your own position and your opinion concerning what he has said. Let's have your take. Leave your comments respectfully and let us know your thoughts. Thank you very much. Bye.